Hey, it's Dave here, and in this video we're going to talk about functional digestive disorders. And these are interesting sets of disorders or symptoms because they are basically the vast group of symptoms that tend to happen even though the digestive system looks normal. So kind of the most broad or basic definition of a functional digestive disorder is that when the medical doctors run all of their tests like colonoscopies, gastroscopies, ultrasounds, scans and things like that, they can't actually find anything wrong with the digestive system. It doesn't look structurally as though there's anything really going on there. Yet you as a person might experience a whole bunch of different symptoms like acid reflux and heartburn type symptoms, bloating, excessive gas, belching, diarrhea, constipation, abdominal cramps, pains, things like that. And so the GI tract is definitely not working properly, but it looks perfectly normal, right? That's the definition. And now typically this will be diagnosed as IBS or something similar, so irritable bowel syndrome. Now that's okay. It's okay to say, look, Mrs. Jones, we understand that there's something wrong, but we don't know what it is. All the tests have come back normal. It's okay. Well, the problem is there's a whole bunch of tests and analyses and considerations that don't typically make it into the medical system that we find are really beneficial for people with these functional digestive disorders. And so I kind of cheekily termed IBS intestinal bullshit. Not because I think the medical system is doing anything wrong, I don't think anybody's bad, just that really if you're sent home with a bunch of these functional digestive disorders like IBS, you're actually not really being given a whole or full complete scope of information to help you make a recovery. And so what is our take on these problems? Well, first of all, in the simplest possible term or terms, IBS and functional digestive disorders typically are caused by a combination of too much bad stuff being in the digestive system and not enough good stuff. And so the bad stuff that accumulates can be bad food. It's just stuff that you're eating, irritating your digestive tract and causing problems. That's really common. It's bad bugs overgrowing, it's bacterial infections, it's dysbiosis or an imbalance of relatively friendly bugs to relatively unfriendly bugs. So too much yeast and fungal overgrowth in the form of, say, candida, or small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, for example. And by the way, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, part of this bad bugs section here, they find it in about 60 to 70% of people with IBS. So is IBS really IBS, or is it actually mostly a bacterial overgrowth? That's a question that we need to ask if we're going to get people well. Some of the gases and toxins and metabolic byproducts of these microbes, and that maybe in some of the processed foods and things that people are eating, they can also irritate the digestive system and cause problems. So these toxins can also be part of the underlying cause, if you like, of IBS type symptoms and other functional digestive disorders. So these three bad guys here, bad food, bad bugs and bad toxins, that can all be tested for using functional medicine testing or functional lab testing. And you can do most of that at home. Now, there's another component here. We could call this bad stress. And stress is a really interesting one with IBS and functional disorders, because stress sometimes seems to be able to trigger them. People are fine and then they have a period of stress in their life. It could be a traumatic injury, it could be an emotional stressor, and then the digestive system starts to play up. Sometimes the symptoms can already be present, but whenever a person is stressed, the symptoms flare up. So there's definitely a component between the brain and the digestive system, this two-way communication system called the gut-brain axis, and that certainly plays a role in some people as well. If we look at the things that become depleted, well, people might not be eating enough whole, fresh produce that contains the right kinds of fiber and what have you, and that can potentially create problems. There may not be enough friendly microbes in the digestive system because of too many antibiotics, and that might cause problems. There may not be enough helpful nutrients to control the immune system and keep the microbiome in check, things like vitamin A, vitamin D, and what have you. And finally, there may not be enough digestive juices. So stomach acid. We might not be chewing the food enough and getting saliva production all mixed in with the food before it hits the stomach. There may be problems with the pancreas releasing its enzymes, and there may be problems with the liver and gallbladder, which alters the amount of bile being secreted into the intestine. And so a lack of these substances, good foods, good bugs, good nutrients and digestive juices, can also contribute to the picture. Now, if you've watched any of my other videos, you'll hear me say many times that if you came to me in the street or in the clinic, or if I spoke to you on Skype and you said, I have IBS or I have a functional digestive disorder, what do I do? I actually don't know what you need to do, because I don't know what pattern of this good stuff, bad stuff dynamic you have as an individual. But you certainly would want to start with your diet and lifestyle, because sometimes that resolves the problems quite rapidly. If that doesn't work, then you certainly want to be looking at what functional testing you can do to pretty much uncover all of these imbalances that might be happening inside your digestive system. Now, I'll leave it at that for now. That's enough of a starting point, but there are factors further back upstream that may also impact all of this that we'll talk about separately. But for now, just know that a functional digestive disorder can be resolved. You don't have to have it for life, no matter what the doctor says. And it's usually some combination of this good stuff and bad stuff kind of seesaw, if you like, that's contributing to the problems. So I hope this has been helpful. I look forward to seeing you on the next video. We'll just look a bit further back upstream at some of the other things that might contribute to some of these dysfunctions, like thyroid issues and adrenal issues, sex hormone imbalance, and what have you. So I will catch you soon. Thank you very much.